What is going on, everyone? I got another unboxing and a review video here to share with all of you. This is the MSI X299 SLI Plus motherboard. So I'm in the process right now of building a new computer, and I went ahead and chose this based on the specs because they'd fit the things that I'm after. It had lots of ports on the back, and that's what I'm looking for, along with some really nice features. So what I was going to do is just do a walk around of the box and just show you that, and then we'll go ahead and get the contents out of the box. So just taking a look at the outside of the box, of course, there is the top and there's the front, and moving right around here to the side, there is some information and some specs there. Moving around to the back, we have some more specs that are in English and other languages, and moving right around here, more logos and stuff on there. So there's a look at that. So let's go ahead now and we'll get everything out of this box. Okay, so we obviously get the motherboard in the box, and I'm going to move this out of the road, go over the other contents, and then I'll move the board back and we'll start going over the board. It comes with the drivers and utility disc. Also comes with the motherboard user guide and some paperwork. It actually shows here that you need to use the correct processor in this motherboard in order to utilize all of the memory slots. Comes with the I/O shield, and you also get two SATA cables and the SLI bridge connector, which I still have not taken out of the package. Jumping back to the motherboard now, I'm going to go ahead and go over all of the rear connectors. One thing very important though I want to share with all of you before I do that is the type of processor that I purchased to use with this motherboard. This is the Skylake i9 7940X processor. The reason this is important is because they included this paper in the motherboard box, and it's showing two very important differences. The top portion here shows a processor that supports 4 channels of memory, and that means you can utilize all of the memory slots on the motherboard. This bottom portion shows you a processor that only supports 2 channels of memory, meaning you can't even use all of these DIMM slots over here because it has this great big black X there. So something very important to consider when purchasing a processor to use with this motherboard. I believe there are some Kaby Lake ones that only support 2-channel memory. You want to make sure that when you're doing your research, you want to buy a processor that supports 4-channel memory. So you have the clear CMOS button right here. This bottom one is the BIOS flashback button. Your PS2 keyboard and mouse port, 2 USB 2.0 ports, with one being the BIOS flashback port. 2 more USB 2.0 ports. You have 4 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports. Here you have 2 dual Intel LAN ports. Here you have USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and 1 reversible Type C ports. Here you have your audio ports and 1 optical out port. This is the front panel audio out header, a 4-pin RGB header to control LED lights, and 3 4-pin fan headers. You have your trusted platform module header. You have your power and reset buttons right here. And next to those, you have your front panel connector header. And then you have 2 USB 2.0 headers. And this little 4-pin header right here, I believe, is for RAID. I think you need some sort of key to unlock that in order to run like M.2 RAID or something like that. And right here you have 2 6 gigabit per second SATA ports. This one right here is a U.2 port. Here you have 6 SATA 6 gigabit per second ports. This is a USB 3.0 front panel connector. This one here is another USB connector. Right here you have your 24-pin ATX power connector. This one here is a numeric diagnostic indicator. This one here is a CPU fan header. This one here is another fan header. It actually says pump fan on it. This one right here is where you'll plug in your 8-pin power connector. This one right here is another fan header. You have 8 DDR4 DIMM slots. You have 2 M.2 slots right here, one with a heat sink on it and one near the bottom. Both of these ports run at the same speed. There's 4 PCI slots here, and they're all by 16. So I will be installing my graphics card into one of these PCI Express slots because they look like they have some type of armor on them. They're a little more heavier looking, and I believe that's what it's for. So you'd probably want to put your graphics cards in these 2 slots. You also have your PCI 1 slots here. 2 things I just wanted to mention as I was looking over the board, I think I went past, was this little switch right here, which I didn't really see it at first, but that little switch right there is for your BIOS. So I forgot to mention this one too when I was going around the board. This is a front panel connector and it's 3.1. I had to take a look in the manual at these couple of things here. I wasn't real sure, so I was just double checking. So overall, I think this is going to be a wonderful motherboard for me and what I need it for. I think I got plenty of fan headers on this thing, lots of stuff here that will keep me going for quite a while. There's just a quick look at the bottom of this motherboard. And like I said, I decided on the i9 7940X. I'm also going to be installing the Samsung 960 EVO for my M.2 drive, and I'm going to be installing this HyperX Predator memory. DDR4 3000 megahertz 2x16. So that comes with just 2 memory chips by Kingston. And I don't know if I mentioned or not, but it will support up to 128 gigs for memory. That's also depending on if you have the correct processor installed. So that's pretty much all I have for this video, just a look and a little review of this motherboard and some of the things about it. I'm looking forward to learning a little more about it. I will have to revert to the manual for some things, especially once I get into the BIOS. From what I understand, the BIOS is set up pretty nice if you want to overclock this, because all of the overclocking settings are on one page in the BIOS. So there is a lot more probably to talk about with this board. Depending on when you're actually watching this video would probably depend on how much you're going to pay for this motherboard. So just click the link in the description below if you're interested. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.